The empty chair, the Grand Council chamber, was the most powerful place in the galaxy. Every week, leaders of different alien empires met there. The room was filled with colors, lights, and voices from hundreds of species. Some floated, some crawled, some walked on 2 or 4 legs. But one seat in the chamber was always empty. It was the Earth seat, the chair of the humans. For 50 years, that seat stayed untouched. At first, the Council sent messages to Earth. Invitations, warnings, orders, but Earth never replied. After a while, they stopped asking, and they started laughing. "Humans are cowards," said a Rithian general. His armor was made of living bone. "They vanished after one lost trade war. Weaklings. They probably destroyed themselves," hissed a shocker diplomat. "All emotion and no logic. Their species was doomed." Everyone laughed. Everyone. Except one. Counselor Varix of the Trailan race sat quietly near the back. He was old, with deep golden eyes and skin like graystone. He remembered when humans first joined the galaxy. He remembered the way they listened, the way they stayed silent when insulted, the way they left without a fight, but they had said one thing before leaving: "If we return, it won't be with words." Now, Varix looked again at the empty chair. His eyes narrowed. Something didn't feel right. The meeting started. Reports, debates, arguments. Some wanted more power. Some wanted more territory. No one cared about the human chair anymore, until the lights flickered. For 2 seconds, everything went dark. Then a strange sound filled the chamber. It was a signal. One long tone. And silence. The room froze. Leaders turned to one another. Tech. Officers looked at their consoles. "It's a human encryption," said one technician. His voice was shaky. "An old one, from over 200 years ago. But it's active." "Impossible," said the Rithian general. "Humans are extinct." Varix stood slowly. "No, they are not. They are listening." The room grew cold. On a distant moon, in a hidden observation post, 3 Trailan scientists monitored deep space signals. Suddenly, alarms blared. Thousands of unknown objects entered the outer edge of the central star system. No identification. No transmissions. No warnings. The ships were moving fast. Too fast for any known species. One scientist whispered, "Are those ... Terran warships?" The screen showed rows and rows of massive black ships, silent, cold, armed. They were headed straight for the Council's homeworld. Back in the Council chamber, chaos broke out. "We must prepare for attack," shouted the Draken admiral. "Know this." "Could be diplomacy," argued a peacekeeper from the Uran tribes. "Diplomacy?" Someone laughed. "With ghosts?" Suddenly, every screen turned black. Then a single word appeared on all displays: "Present." Below it, a time stamp. The next council meeting date. Humans were coming. The council tried to prepare, but their scanners could not track the Terran fleet. Their diplomats received no response. Their warships were told to stand down. No one wanted to provoke Earth. Finally, the day of the meeting came. The Grand Chamber was filled again. But this time, no one joked. No one laughed. They all stared at the empty chair. It still looked the same, metallic, simple, strong. Just like the humans. Then, without warning, the ground rumbled. A soft hum filled the air, and the sky over the air, Council's world, went black. 1,000 Terran warships entered orbit in perfect silence. No weapons fired. No messages sent. They just floated there, watching. The humans had returned, and they hadn't come alone. Asterisk. Forgotten. Not gone 200 years ago. The last human ambassador walked out of the Galactic Council. He didn't argue. He didn't beg. He just looked at the council members and said, "When we return, The galaxy will feel it. After that, Earth went quiet. No messages. No ships. No signals. It was like humanity had disappeared. But Earth had not died. It had grown in silence. Far beyond the edge of mapped space, near a red giant star, was a secret station called Echo Prime. It was cloaked in a gravity bubble, invisible to any scanner. Inside, Earth's oldest AI system, Sentinel Core, had just woken up. Its first words were, "Admiral Reyes. Code Black has been confirmed. Protocol Phoenix is active." In a cold steel room below, a man opened his eyes. Admiral Elias Reyes, the first human born entirely in orbit. He had never been to Earth, but he carried Earth's fire in his blood. "Status?" he asked calmly. A second voice replied, sharp and female. "All Terran fleets are awakened. Weapon systems are charging. Dreadnoughts are moving to the Council world. Silent mode remains active." Reyes nodded. "Make no contact. Let them see us, but not know us." He walked to the central window. Outside, stars drifted slowly. Then, between them, black ships began to rise. Dozens, hundreds, thousands. Back on Earth, a quiet planet under thick cloud cover, lights began turning on in deep ocean bunkers. Children were trained in logic, empathy, and war. Farms produced food for billions, but hidden beneath them were antimatter cores and launch silos. While the galaxy laughed at Earth's silence, humans had been watching everything, studying every mistake the Council made. They built ships, faster, stronger, smarter than anyone imagined. They didn't need the galaxy, but the galaxy would soon need them. Meanwhile, on the Council world, the leaders were in panic. Every satellite feed showed the same image. 1,000 Terran ships parked. In perfect orbit, they hadn't moved. Not one, but somehow they were getting closer, like shadows bending light, like watchers behind a one-way mirror. One brave envoy, Captain Sullen of the Drevic Order, took a small diplomatic ship and flew into the Terran fleet. He wanted peace. Or at least answers. As he reached the edge of the formation, his sensors failed. The stars blinked out. Space turned quiet. Then something massive moved, just above his ship, blocking his view completely. His crew screamed. And then? Nothing. Hours later, his ship was returned. Untouched. All crew were unharmed. No one remembered what happened inside. Only one change was found. On the ship's main monitor was a message written in simple human language. "We remember. Do you?" Back at the Council, panic turned to fear. Some wanted war. Others begged for surrender. But the oldest among them, Councillor Varix, simply sat and watched the human warships in orbit. He remembered Earth's silence. He remembered the look in the humans' eyes long ago. And now, he finally understood. They had not been absent. They had been preparing. Asterisk. The Council's joke. The Grand Chamber was full again. This time, there was no laughter. For 3 days, Earth's warships had remained in orbit, silent, unmoving, watching. No shots fired. No demands made, but their presence was louder than war. And it made the Council nervous. The Draken Admiral slammed his armored hand on the table. "This is psychological warfare. They want us to panic." A furry-hulled diplomat whispered, "Maybe they want us to speak first. Maybe they're waiting." An insectoid scribe from the Zur hive clacked his mandibles. "The humans are Deathworlders. They know patience. They know silence." Still, many leaders scoffed. Earth left the Council on their own. One said, "They refused to join our economy." Said another, "They were never important," sneered High Speaker. "Talros of the Vunari, just arrogant little apes." And then he laughed loud and long. "Perhaps they forgot how to use the door, or they want us to beg them to come back." Some others chuckled nervously, but Councillor Varix did not laugh. He looked again at the empty human chair. and he noticed something. A small silver line now ran across the back of the chair. Mark. It hadn't been there yesterday. Did anyone touch the chair? Varix asked quietly. No, said a guard. Varix stood and walked closer. He reached out and ran his finger along the silver line. Suddenly, he stopped. The mark wasn't paint. It was a cut precise and clean, carved with a tool sharp enough to slice through alloy in silence. Someone or something had been in the chamber. That same moment, across the planet, Skywatchers stared in silence. Earth's warships had changed formation. Now, they formed a circle above the Council City. Not threatening. Just surrounding. All screens blinked once. Then, the Terran ships began to project something into the sky. A message. A single, silent image burned across the clouds. The human chair. Empty. But this time, a shadow stood behind it. A tall figure in a black uniform. Face hidden. Hands behind his back. Watching. The message glowed above the city. Like a warning etched in light. No words. Just a memory. Inside the chamber, the lights flickered again. Then the systems went dark. All screens black. No communication. No scans. Then one screen lit up. A countdown. 0 hours 1 minute and 0 seconds. Gasps filled the room. 59 seconds. 50-8. What is this? A minister shouted. Is it a bomb? No. Varix whispered. It's a signal. The final second passed, and every speaker in the chamber turned on at once. A calm voice spoke, deep and human. You've held our seat for long enough. Then silence, and the screens lit up again, this time showing a view from orbit. Thousands of human ships. Lined up in perfect rows, and one massive dreadnought moving forward. Slow, graceful, silent. On its hull was a name written in glowing blue letters. UTSMEMOR. Wonder it. One sentence pulsed like a heartbeat. We do not forget. We do not forgive. But we will still offer peace. Counselor Varix stared at the message and whispered. They didn't come to fight. They came to judge. Asterisk voice from the silence. No. One spoke. No one moved. The council chamber was frozen as the last message echoed in their ears. You've held our seat for long enough. A voice human. Cold, calm, controlled. No threats. No shouting. Just presence. Like a shadow that had been waiting behind the curtain for centuries. Above the council world. The human dreadnought UTS memory hovered quietly. No weapons were active, but every species watching felt the same thing. Call on power. Not loud, not violent, but patient power. The kind that didn't need to roar, because it had already won. Inside the council security room. Chaos ruled. Scramble all defense systems. No, that might trigger them. We need to open communication. But no channel worked. Human tech was blocking everything. Even telepathic races couldn't reach inside the fleet. It was as if Earth had brought not just warships, but silence itself. Then the lights dimmed. Across the chamber, every screen blinked once, and then she appeared. A woman, human, wearing a black command uniform, with a silver eagle on her shoulder. Hair tied back. Eyes like iron. Her name appeared below her image. Admiral Elena Reyes, Terran Diplomatic Fleet. She didn't smile. She didn't blink. She simply said, Members of the Galactic Council, you may sit. And they did. Every one of them. Even the proudest leaders felt their legs obey before their minds agreed. She continued. 216 years ago, Earth was mocked in this very room. Laughed at. Ignored. Voted out. Her voice stayed calm. So we left. We built. We watched. And now we return. In the background of her message, a soft humming grew. Louder. A rhythmic pulse. It wasn't just audio. It was felt in the bones of every living thing. A frequency only humans had used before. a language hidden in sound. You once called us children, fragile, over-emotional, and you were right about one thing. We feel. She stepped forward in the frame. But you forgot what feeling becomes when it's left in the dark too long. Her eyes met the camera, and every council member felt it. She wasn't just speaking to them. She was speaking to every species. Earth does not seek war, she said finally. But we do seek memory. A pause. You will return our seat. You will remember what silence means. Then the screen went black dot. No goodbye, no second warning. Outside the chamber, panic spread. Some species wanted to flee the planet. Others wanted to surrender immediately. But the dreadnoughts never moved. They didn't fire. They just waited. Judges at a trial no one knew had already begun. Inside the council chamber, Varric stood slowly. He looked again at the human chair, still empty, still waiting. And he said the words no one else dared to speak. This is not a threat. It's a test. Asterisk. The warning remembered the war room of the Galactic Council hadn't seen this much fear in 100 years. Dozens of alien leaders argued at once. They're bluffing. No, they're testing us. We should attack before they do. But no one dared move a single warship. The human fleet still hovered above the above. Council world silent, waiting, watching like a wall of stars that had forgotten how to shine. Councillor Varric stood apart from the others, his aged hands behind his back. He didn't yell. He didn't panic. He remembered. Years ago, before Earth left the Council, he had spoken to a human diplomat. A soft-spoken woman with steady eyes. Her name was Sarah Lynn. She was calm, kind, polite, but before she left, she had said one thing to him quietly, almost like a whisper. We will not speak again until the sky remembers us. Varric's head thought it was poetry. Now he realized it was a warning. He turned to the rest of the chamber and spoke. Long ago, we mocked them. We erased their voice, and they walked away. He paused. But they never stopped building, never stopped learning. The others glared at him. You want us to bow? Hissed the Draken Admiral. Varric looked up at the ceiling through it. The shadow of the human dreadnoughts hung like a storm. We already are, he said. In a desperate move, the Cycran Dominion activated a stealth drone, a tiny, invisible machine. Its mission, fly into Earth's lead ship and gather intel. Drone launched from deep underground, cloaked in quantum shields. Faster than any council craft. It zipped silently through the upper atmosphere, invisible to all sensors. Except one. As soon as the drone entered Earth's fleet range, it vanished. No sound. No flash. Just gone. The council techs watched in horror. A blinking light on their console pulsed once. Then a message appeared. Attempt noted. Judgment pending. A drone had never even been seen. And yet, it had been watched the entire time. In orbit, the Terran warships moved for the first time. Just a few degrees, but together, every dreadnought tilted slightly forward, as if leaning in. The message was clear. They weren't just visitors anymore. They were now listening for an answer. Varric stepped forward and faced the council. We forgot what humans are, he said. We called them weak because they felt too much. But now look. He pointed to the sky. They do not need anger. They do not need weapons. Their silence alone brings the galaxy to its knees. He looked at the human chair. I remember the warning, he said. And now the sky does too. Asterisk. The power unveiled for a full day. Earth's fleet did nothing. They didn't move. They didn't speak. They just hovered in orbit, like a shadow too large to name. Every being on the council planet could see them, even in daylight. The black shapes blocked the sun, gliding silently like giants carved from forgotten metal. Children whispered legends. Elders stayed indoors. and the bravest looked up and prayed, not for survival, but for understanding. Inside the dreadnought UT's memory, Admiral Elena Reyes stood on the command bridge. She looked at the planet below, her face calm, her hands folded. "Open the sky," she said. And Earth obeyed. Above the Council world, the Terran fleet began to change. One by one, the warships opened their hulls, not to launch weapons, but to reveal something older, stranger, and more terrifying than guns. Memory cores, massive rings of light and sound, thousands of spinning plates, glowing runes, energy that hummed with stories. Not weapons, but history. The story of Earth. Images flickered across the planet's sky. Humans fleeing a dying Earth. Humans rejected by the First Council. Human colonies wiped out by pirates. The Council stood by. Children starving on mining moons, while the galaxy passed resolutions no one enforced. Then, Earth alone. In caves. In space. In silence. Building. Surviving. Becoming. The final image hovered above the sky like a dream. A human child, holding a Terran flag on a burned world, whispering, "Even if we are alone, we will become enough." Then it faded, and silence returned. The sky turned dark. Every Terran ship closed its memory core. And then, one single ship moved forward. UTS Omen, the oldest warship, still in service. It was scarred, ancient, but stronger than anything in the galaxy. Its engine glowed white, too pure to be fusion. A new kind of energy, quantum-bonded light core. Something no one else had. Something only Earth had perfected. And they had never shared. Until now. Inside the council chamber, gasps turned to silence. One diplomat from the Zur hive fainted. Another from the core species dropped his staff in shock. "What are they?" someone whispered. Counselor Varix answered. "They are not just warships anymore. They are memories made solid, pain given shape. They carry not just weapons, but truth." A voice came through again. "Admiral Reyes, we do not seek conquest. We seek acknowledgement. You laughed at our grief, so we built it into steel." The room trembled as she continued. "This is the power of those you tried to erase. We remember. We endure. And now. We lead." For the first time in living memory, no one on the council said a word, not because they couldn't, but because there was nothing left to say. Only one part remained. The sky rewritten. The council hall was silent. No one dared breathe too loudly. Above them, the Terran fleet still held its silent watch. Like statues carved from shadow, they hung in orbit, cold, still, unshakable. But inside the chamber, everything had changed. The vote had been called, not by Earth, but by the Council itself. At an emergency motion, one line: restore Earth's seat, offer leadership, or face the silence again. It passed. Unanimously. Even the proudest species voted yes, because now they understood. Earth never needed war. Earth was the war they had feared. A soft tone rang through the chamber. Then, footsteps echoed. Heavy. Calm. Human. The chamber doors opened not by command, but because they opened themselves. No one saw how. And through them walked a single human. Tall, gray uniform. No medals. No weapons. Just presence. He stepped toward the long, empty Terran chair and sat down. Slowly. Quietly. If it had always belonged to him. Admiral Reyes' voice returned, this time soft, almost kind. "We thank you for your decision. We accept leadership not for revenge, but for balance. From this day, the galaxy moves forward. Together." In orbit, the dreadnoughts began to rise, slowly lifting higher into the sky, not as a threat, but as a promise. Reminder, a new chapter, across the stars. The message spread. Broadcast to every system, every moon, every station. A single image, the Terran fleet, parting the clouds dot, and beneath it, one line of text. Earth has returned. The sky remembers. In time, young species would learn this moment in schools. They would ask, why did Earth disappear? Why did they return? Why didn't they destroy us? And their teachers would answer, because silence is not weakness. It is preparation. Above the stars, the Terran fleet left behind no wreckage, no fire, no blood, only a message carved into memory. And the galaxy was never the same again. Final line. When humans fall silent, the sky listens.